The Celts. The earliest origin is known in southwestern Germany in the Danube Valley 3,300 years ago. They were known as the Urnstead culture because they had their deads in urns. Then 2,500 years ago they spread over Europe, to Ireland as Celts, to England as Britons, and to France as Gauls. And they had then during the Bronze Age the Hellstead culture, and then they started to make iron 2,500 years ago, and they were quite good at making things out of iron. They also came into contact with Etruscan and Greek and with the Latin culture, and that brought them into contact with distinctive Celtic spiral motifs, which they used in art and also then in the blue body tattoo at the world, which they had the borders, for example. And they valued highly warriors, but also poets, and 800 before Christ there was, for example, on the Isle Iona and in Ireland the Book of Celts written. And the poets were writing about heroes and about magic. And their society was organized in clans, highly organized, with a chief clan who was making the laws. And that is according to Miles Kelly's World History book on the pages 210 and 211. Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn history, today the Celts, and after we've done it, we're going to do squat training. And if you participate in the squat training, then is that at your own risk. Who were the Celts? The Celts are an ancient group of peoples who first appeared in the Danube Valley in Germany about 3,300 years ago. I still don't know how that river is pronounced in English, Danube Valley. And I don't know where the Danube Valley is, but the Danube starts in southeast Germany, in Bavaria, in the Blackwood Forest, as I think called. Now, somewhere there, the Celts, 3,300 years ago, in southwestern Germany, in Bavaria. No, it's not Bavaria, it's their country. I don't know the name of it in English. It could be Baden-Württemberg in English. Now, 3,300 years ago, where the Celts appeared in southwest Germany. There the Danube, a big river coming from Germany, through Germany, and through, it's not Poland, it's Czech, and then Romania, there into the Black Sea. And I don't know exactly, it goes through countries, through Hungary goes it also. So, we're through Eastern Europe. The first Celts are known as the Urnfield culture because they put their cremated death in urns. So, I don't want to talk too much in details about it, but they had then urns, and that's why they're also called Urnfield, or that was known as the Urnfield culture. From 800 to 400 before Christ, Celts spread across northern Europe. They took over modern-day France as people called Gauls, England, where they were known as Britons, and Ireland, where they were known as Gaels. Okay, these Celts people who as an ancient group first appeared in southwestern Germany, today's Germany, spread then over France, known as Gauls, to England, Britain, to Ireland as Gaels. The first wave of expansion is called Hellstead culture. With bronze, Celts developed supreme metalworking skills. So the first wave of expansion around 800 before Christ was known as the Hellstead culture, and the Celts were doing out of bronze metalworks. Around 500 before Christ, Celts learned to make iron and came into contact with Greeks and Etruscan. The Latin culture emerged. So the Celts, they were coming into contact with Greek and also the Etruscans. I don't know where they were, the Etruscans, and they were coming into contact with the Latin culture. In Latin, I don't know how it's pronounced, the distinctive Celts swirls and spiral decoration was used on weapons and ornaments. So these spirals you see on the other picture. Swirls and spirals as decoration. When we came into contact, or when the Latin culture emerged, during the time when we came into contact with the Greeks and Etruscans. After the Gauls, after the Gauls, so the Celts over France, sacked Rome in Italy in 390 before Christ. So before the Roman Empire, the Roman Empire was already, but before the Roman Empire reached its peak, 390 before Christ. It seemed Celts might overrun Europe, but they were split into many tribes, and from 200 before Christ, they were pushed even further west. Okay, 390. They came from France up to Italy and went down to Rome. There was written about the Gauls. If they went back, but they stayed in northern Italy for 200 years. But what was interesting, in 278 before Christ, the Gauls invaded Turkey and settled in an area called Galatia. 200 before Christ, so 80 years after the Galatia settling in Turkey, they were pushed westwards. Some early Celts used Greek letters to write in their own language, but our knowledge of them comes mostly from Greek and Roman authors. So the Celts were using Greek letters. And that was before the Romans mostly probably, not the Greek but the Romans and the writing Greek letters. So they had the letters of Greek, how they were made with alphabet, gamma, delta, and so on, but they were writing in their own Celtic or Gaelic language, or what it is. But the knowledge about these languages, of the Greek letters, comes more from the Greek and from the Roman. Celts were fierce warriors who charged into battle shouting, naked and stained with blue, woe to die. But they valued poets more highly than warriors. Their poets' tales of heroes and magic tell us how rich their culture was. Okay, they sometimes got into battle, and it is said as something as this person here is depicted. But they also valued written form, written texts, poetry, and which in these poems is told about heroes and also magic. Of heroes and magic. Celtic clan society was highly organized and revolved around the chief of a clan who made all the laws. Okay, they had clans. I don't know how it exactly works, but they were organized and they had a chief, and that person was directing how things were going. To face a Celtic warrior was a terrifying experience. Their bodies tattooed with blue dye, about they would let out blood-curdling battle cries as they charged into combat. Let's come to it. Okay, here's something said about how we probably were fighting, a bit like that, and it's also said that we were shouting when we got into battle, and created in the early 1800s, after Christ now, in Iona and Ireland. The Book of Celts is one of the great treasures of Celtic art. The Book of Celts was also mentioned, was it here? In the Ireland part, Ireland. Irish monasteries became havens of art and learning in the Dark Ages, creating the famous Book of Celts. So in Irish monasteries, there was the Book of Celts written. And in Iona and in Ireland, Iona is an island, I think, and in Ireland itself, which is also an island, there the Book of Celts was written. And that is one of the greatest treasures of Celtic art. That is not a window, that is a book cover. I think. It was the history part. If you were here for history, you can go directly to the next part of history, where we're going to read it all again, and then we try to make a presentation out of memory about it. If you stay here and participate in the squat training, then it's better to ask. We are warming a bit up, one leg up. The mushroom and the baby mushroom. That's a greeting mushroom. Take a leg and tuck a tail. The other leg. And one leg to the side. The torso pointing in the front. You're stretching the inner side of the leg. The train stop. Over to the other side. And the mentis go from side to side. And now, what are we doing? We're doing squat training. So the legs to the side. And we're starting with 12 squats. The first one and the second one. And these are already the first. This is the first quarter, this is the first third. Now we're having number 5 and 6 is the half. So with 7 and now with 8. We're strong in the second half. With 9 we're having 3/4, 10, 10, and the last pair 11 and 12. And the next exercise, the 6-back squat squeeze. Down into quarter squat and press against the top part of the leg. And on the outside. Half squat, press in the middle of the leg. And on the outside. 3/4 squat and press close to the knee. And on the other side. Okay. And now the fastest giraffe of a water pond. Down into 3/4 squat, press against the knee and go towards it. Press, go towards it. Press, go towards it. Press, towards it. Press, go towards it. And the last time, press, go towards it. And up. And the last exercise, the propeller. Down into full squat, arms to the sides, over to one side, press against the leg, look up to the head. Middle, over, press against the leg, look up to the head. Middle, and up. And we're supposed to squat training, but we're stretching up. One heel onto the ground to pull the toes in, to the left, pull the toes in. A high sit-up stretch to the right, pull in. Middle, move from left to right. Other heel, middle, pull in. Right, pull in. Left, pull in. Middle, move from left to right. One leg again up. The other one. Again at the ankle tanking. Change. Legs apart, we finger down. And breathe out. In and up. And out. Breathe in and close the legs. And breathe again out. That was a squat training. I thank you very much and until next time.